Coming up on the Buckeye Guard, an airman's adventures in Antarctica, the Serbian Prime Minister visits Ohio, soldiers compete for the title of Best Warrior, and we remember the devastation and the Guard's response to the Xenia tornado.
We could see things flipping around in it. We thought it was newspapers, it was walls.
The operator said, I can't put any calls through because that whole town's been destroyed.
I had never seen anything like this in my life.
In a matter of minutes on the afternoon of April 3, 1974, the relative quiet of a spring day in the small southwestern Ohio town of Xenia was shattered. A powerful F5 tornado tore a path of destruction. Homes and schools were leveled, businesses destroyed. The nearby Ohio Army National Guard Armory was damaged. Kathy Wilson was 9 when the tornado touched down near her family's home.
2 blocks down from us was pretty well flattened, so that's how close it was.
Her father, Ray Kidd, was working as an aircraft mechanic at the Ohio Air National Guard's 178th Wing in Springfield. He remembers jumping in his car to get home to check on his family and the roadblocks he faced, like the derailed train that was spread across Main Street.
I crawled under the train and I walked back up and I could see the path of the tornado. I knew that it couldn't have missed our house.
While his wife and 2 daughters made it out safely, 33 people were killed that day. Kidd and others from the 178th were put on state active duty to help guard against looting and assist in the recovery effort. They were followed closely behind by Ohio Army National Guard soldiers on the ground and in the air.
They had us going out in sort of the rural areas and going to farmhouses and things, and we'd land and check for survivors and see if people were injured and things like that.
Guarding everything from pilferage, helping wherever we could, trying to get people's stuff out of the way. You know, we're moving bricks or boards or furniture or whatever to try and get a hole through so they could get in. We transported people.
Tragically, a few days after the tornado, 2 airmen from the 178th were killed when fire raced through a downtown furniture store they were guarding. Ohio National Guard troops continued to help the residents of Xenia for several weeks.
You felt like you were doing something worthwhile. The people all were so appreciative of your part in it.
There are still reminders of that day, parking lots where buildings once stood, a memorial to those who lost their lives. At the Greene County Historical Society, where Wilson is the executive director, visitors can see some of the destruction of the deadly twister and the resiliency of the people who experienced it.
Xenia itself was a different place. It changed us, but it also brought the neighborhood closer together.
It made me be very proud to be in the Guard and to be a part of a big force that can do so much good.
So the Best Warrior competition of 2019, held at Camp Sherman Training Center near Chillicothe, Ohio, is a culmination of all of the best selected NCOs and enlisted soldiers in the state of Ohio from the MSCs, the Major Subordinate Commands.
All right, here we go. Ready, set.
I loved competition growing up, playing sports all the way through up until high school. And the reason I wanted to compete specifically in the Best Warrior competition is to put all the Army tasks that I've learned to the test and really push myself to see where I'm at in my Army career.
My first sergeant, I can't thank him enough for prepping me the way he did. That was no way I could have done that alone. Him quizzing me, him creating study guides for me, giving me questions that engaged different portions of Army knowledge that you need to have, the important things that you need to know as an NCO, what you need to do to develop leaders.
What our soldiers are able to accomplish when they put their mind to it, I think it impresses them as much as it impresses us. And to see those aha moments when soldiers realize that, hey, this is what being a soldier is about, is doing Army things and doing Army tasks. It's really unique to watch. It's almost like a growth experience from the beginning of the competition to the end when you announce the winners.
You can't just be your MOS. You need to be all-around well-fitted soldier. You need to, in today's world, anything could happen at any moment. You need to be prepared to do that land nav even though you're a truck driver. You need to be able to do the low crawls, and you need to be all-around encompassed as a soldier, not just proficient in your task.
And when the winners are announced, there's a lot of pride that goes along with that, because they know that the person to their left and person to their right didn't do as well as they did. They were the better soldier, or they were the better NCO during this competition.
The Ohio National Guard welcomed Prime Minister Ana Brnabić and a delegation from the Republic of Serbia to Ohio in an effort to expand the long-standing relationship between the Ohio National Guard and the Serbian military to include civil partnerships between Ohio and Serbian industry, agriculture, and higher education.
Between the Ohio National Guard and the Republic of Serbia, that military-to-military partnership has been fantastic, and it's flourished and it's grown over 12 years. So now it's time for the next step.
While in Ohio, the Prime Minister met with senior Ohio leadership, including Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted, to discuss exploring new ways for Serbia and Ohio to partner. She also toured the Ohio State University's collection of historic Baltic artifacts and met with faculty about facilitating international studies and partnerships between OSU and Serbian universities.
The Ohio National Guard is very, very well liked in Serbia, is probably the best ambassador of the United States in Serbia.
The Ohio National Guard and Serbian military state partnership dates back to 2006, part of a United States Department of Defense initiative that pairs state National Guards with foreign militaries to share experiences and develop interoperability.
It's time to leverage the brand that Ohio's built in the Republic of Serbia to open doors for Ohio businesses. And that's not just about business, it's about higher education, it's about agriculture, it's about any industry that may have an opportunity for global growth or global expansion. Serbia is right for that.
I think Antarctica is kind of the forgotten continent that people don't think about. So I'm Joseph Carter, Senior Master Sergeant, Occupational Safety and Health Manager with the 180th Fighter Wing at Toledo Express Airport. So I was there for 2 months, and when you get off that plane, you first step on the continent, it really does feel like you're in a different planet. Hundreds of miles of flat snow, up to jagged mountains, and 300-400 foot, snow banks next to the mountains, and it's just when you look around you, it doesn't look like anything else that you've seen before. It's a very harsh environment. The continent itself is always actively trying to kill you. Between ice crevasses and snowstorms, any misstep down there could cause some real serious problems. Well, the airfields are on the ice. The ice is constantly moving around the continent. Well, the runway had moved 5 feet in a month and a half. So we have to readjust it to make sure the runway is where the pilots think the runway is going to be when they're coming into land. On their mission specifically to the South Pole, it's so cold there that they can't shut down the engine on the aircraft, or they risk not being able to restart them. So the engines are still running, they're unloading, offloading cargo, fuel, personnel. The crew that's outside the aircraft have to unplug their headsets. And so anytime you cut off audio communication with people around the running aircraft, you increase the risks and hazards. With the group we have in the Air Force, and especially here at the 180th, if we can do some of the maintenance and fly some of the missions we did in Antarctica, the most inhospitable place on the planet, we can definitely do it here. It just takes the willpower and the effort to put through the work.
To see more about the Ohio National Guard, go to ong.ohio.gov or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.